I think starting schoolwork later will be a great idea. Research shows that the teenager perform more academically when they get enough sleep.
But wouldn't that mess up after school activities, sports and clubs would end up too late?
That's a valid concern, but studies shows the benefits to the students' health grades outweigh the drawbacks.
Of course, Tommy would say that she's always late for school anyway. She just wanted this piece to sleep.
Oh my god, that's not fair.
But it's true. How can we even trust her opinion when she can wake up on time?
Oh wait, that's first. Maybe that's the personal policy. Instead of the emotional policy argument for personally attack.
But
No, think about it. The student being able to school change whether her opinion is valid.
I guess not.
Exactly, let's stick to the fact. What do you think about the research on the issue?
Well, I think the research is interesting, but I still think after-school activities might be a problem. We define a compromise, like the starting time by 30 minutes instead of an hour.
That's a great idea. I read about schools that tried smaller shift and still saw changes.
Okay, I get it. Sorry, Tommy. I should have made it personal. The argument deserves to be taken seriously.
Thanks, Michael. Let's keep the focus on the ideas, not the person.
Now, that's how you have a proper debate.
The dialogue highlights the against, the person fallacy, ad hominem, where someone attacks the individual instead of addressing their argument. Summary: Tommy argues for later school start times, citing research on improved academic performance and health. Maghanoy counters with concerns about after-school activities, but then shifts to a personal attack, claiming Tommy's tardiness undermines her argument. Afable and Valdez point out the fallacy, explaining that personal traits don't affect the validity of an argument. Refocusing the topic, the group explores potential compromise like smaller schedule shifts. Maghanoy apologizes, acknowledging the importance of focusing on ideas rather than personal judgments. The discussion ends with everyone practicing better debate skills.
The three friends sits in the cafeteria looking at the flyer for a charity event.
We have to donate this charity. These kids are starving and we are so lucky to have food.
I get that, but the money is stopped right now. I got school expenses to cover and saving up for a new laptop.
Sarif, that's an appeal to pity. You're making him feel guilty instead of giving a really solid reason to donate.
But think about it, Jeyo. Those kids might not eat tonight. And here we are complaining about our small problem. How can you not care?
You're just trying to make him feel bad. That's not fair. You need to focus on facts, not guilt.
I do feel bad, but I'm really stretched financially. I don't think I can afford a big donation.
But if you don't donate, you're just turning your back on them. How can you live with that?
That's still the same, Sarif. You're using emotion to manipulate his decision instead of having a real discussion about how we can help.
I want to help, just not sure how. Maybe I could donate a smaller amount or even volunteer.
I just want to make it different. But I guess you are right. Guilt tripping won't help anyone.
Exactly. Let's find a way to work for all of us. Volunteer or small donation can still make a big impact.
Okay, I'm in. Let's all chip in how we can.
In this scenario, several fallacies are at play, primarily revolving around appeal to pity. But there are also elements of false dilemma and strawman. Here's how they break down. Sarif's appeal to pity ultimately relies on emotional manipulation to get a response, creating an argument that doesn't give Jeyo the space to think through his actual concerns. Hilamon helps Jeyo shift toward a more logical, compassionate, and practical way of considering the charity, moving beyond the emotional pressure to explore real solutions.
A group of students are having a little argument about divorce, sharing their own opinion about this topic.
Guys, do you agree in divorce?
Honestly, on my personal opinion, I do agree, because not everybody are experiencing a good marriage life. Some people are experiencing worst case like being hurt by their husband or wife, and others are experiencing worst cases But what about those people who already have their own family? I don't think divorce is one of the options. If ever there's a problem, there's a kid are the one who's going to suffer.
Good evening, guys. I heard your conversation. But is getting hurt by your own partner is enough reason to go file one? I mean, would you still rather stay in a relationship if it's not good for you and good for your family already?
Actually, you have a point. Like, what about those people have their personal ego, like doing illegal things? There's a tendency that their partner can get involved in the case, even though he doesn't know what his partner is doing.
But if they get a divorce, there's a tendency that if one of you will get a new partner, there is a chance that your child support will be cut off if ever they already have children.
I agree. Like, what if your partner will get married to their new spouse and their new relationship wants for you to stop your support on your child to your first partner? Isn't that unfair?
But it's not always about their kids. Not at all relationships already have a child, but divorce is one of the opportunity to get out of relationship full of abuse, lack of love, or broken relationships.
Some people can change from the person they promised before getting married to the person they become after their marriage and after having a child. So I think divorce should be legal and free.
In this scene that shows an appeal to the people fallacy, where a group of people are having a debate or an argument about their own personal thoughts about a certain topic, divorce. For the breakdown, the appeal to the people fallacy, for Crystal, Mark, and Jasel's point of view doesn't match with her friends' ideas thoughts. They thought that allowing people to file a divorce can just make your situation more difficult, especially to those people who already have a family. Unlike Lorraine and Brian, who sees divorce as a helpful way for those people who are in need.